Take your little strands of hair. My
My little
lady,
strands.
my liege, my lord.
my hair plugs.
From movies to video games, welcome to Marie Plays It All. Today's episode is Relatively Geeking, where my brother and I geek out about the good times. Hi, Rob.
Hey, Marie. I'm like super excited.
Oh, so am I.
I am sad about something though.
Oh no, what?
That you're not here.
Aw.
I know, man. How long has it been? Like a week since you were here?
Yeah. Yeah, a week and a half. It's 2 weeks. It feels like forever. So
Yeah,
my brother lives in America, in South Carolina, and I live in Canada, in Winnipeg. And I didn't see him for about 4 years. It was too long.
It's infinity.
It was infinity.
It was like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, but I just came back from visiting him for like a week and a half ago, and it was the best. And I already miss you in South Carolina.
You missed the weather. Dude, I was wearing this outside.
It's actually not bad here. It's only like -1, whatever that is.
It's not bad.
Whatever that is in Fahrenheit. So Rob and I wanted to do this because we are both major geeks. And I would not be a geek if it wasn't for Rob. I always say that I am the person I am today, like pretty much solely because of him. I'll just give you all the credit. Just give you all the credit. I have a tattoo dedicated to him on my arm here. So it's like, but we were playing video games before we learned how to ride bikes. And I think
even spell.
Couldn't read yet. Couldn't read yet.
Out of the womb, I was holding like a ColecoVision controller. Like it was just playing them games, like 3 colors on the screen. Wait, what, like, how did I introduce you to geekdom?
Well, I don't know if it was you per se. It was Dad, actually. Our dad. Okay, Rob and I were raised the main part, the source of our geekiness, I think, revolves around video games. It starts there and it branches out to movies and TV shows, and like Rob and his anime, and I'm not really into anime, but Rob was. We were not only allowed to play video games as much as we want, we were encouraged to play video games. And our dad played games and he introduced us to stuff. But I think the reason why I like always credit you is because we did most of that like together. Like the person I played video games with the most was you. And we get like really into it. We'd have inside jokes and we have so many stories, and yeah, I don't know. It's just, he's my brother.
Oh, God. It's like the worst brother reference ever given to anyone in the whole universe.
No, the song's okay, but we always relate that to that drug addiction commercial from way back then. Okay, Rob and I are 80s babies, so we're dating ourselves with like the ColecoVision and the drug addiction, he's my brother commercial. So you know what? We're dating ourselves.
No, it was a commercial about drug addiction, and it's about a guy whose brother was addicted to heroin, and he's shuffling down wow, this is a great way to start, by the way. Hey folks, shuffling down the hospital.
Let's get sad
right away. Shuffling down this hospital, and like, he's my brother. And Marie would turn to me, we're like, what, 4? And you turned to me,
well, I'd be 4 and you're probably a little bit older, but
you were like worried I was going to be a heroin addict. At 4, you like looked like, oh, that could be you. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to watch some cartoons. Like,
yeah, Ninja Turtles is coming on.
I was going to say Ninja Turtles. He's my brother. Like, forget that. Like, wow.
But they played that commercial like during Saturday morning cartoons, and but it was good because it brainwashed us to like not want to do heroin.
No, that was drug-free America propaganda time.
Oh, okay.
So there was the one with the egg. This is your brain on drugs.
Yes.
The eggs. There's that one. Oh, and the one where the dad smokes weed. Like the dad catches the kid and he's like, you can't smoke weed. And he's, where'd you learn how to do this? And the kid's like, from you, Dad. And he looks all sheepish.
Oh, I thought it was just cigarettes, or that was weed?
Well, you know what though? It should,
whatever. It's just,
but either way, it's a badass dad.
Anyway, I don't know how we got here. We're talking about the 80s. But anyway, okay, let's circle back to video games. We hate that lingo and that terminology. Let's touch base on video games again. Let's piggyback on that. So video games, our lives and everything. We have different, like, we're very, very different gamers though. Our video game playing styles a little different. What I do is I find video games and I covet them and I play them to death over and over, and I'm loyal and dedicated to like a handful of video games. But you are more like an avid, would branch out, and you played a lot more games than me.
Yeah, I like pretty much every genre.
Mm-hmm.
Role playing, action, strategy,
Mm-hmm.
puzzle, text adventure,
Mm.
um,
Dating ourselves
uh,
again.
point and click adventure.
Also dating
That's really fun
ourselves.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really great. Sort of just narrative driven adventures.
Mm-hmm.
I like all sorts. Isometric RPGs, action RPGs, games that
This
pretend
is
to
why
be
we're geeks, man. Isometric RPGs.
my hipster comment, games that
Mm.
pretend to be RPGs like Skyrim.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay. Okay.
ooh.
Okay. Shots fired. Shots fired.
All sorts.
But you also
No, I sound like one of those guys that's like, what kind of music do you like? It's like, I like all sorts of music. It's like, I hate that, but I like all sorts of games.
It's true. And also you will play games on like extreme difficulty and everything like that. And you will want like a challenge. You want to get like all the awards and achievements. I'm like, I just want to put a game in, put it on like normal mode and just like chill and escape life. And you're like, no, I did all the achievements. I started from the beginning.
Look, I'm a completionist. I
Yes.
have to have every box needs to be checked on like the quest list. A game's only satisfying if you go through pain. Like it's like work. It's like a second job.
Okay. This
Only you
is
don't
where
get
we
paid.
differ. This is where we differ. You get paid in
I
achievements and pride.
okay, Dishonored, I promised myself, I'm like, I'm gonna play this stealthy game for fun. Just go through the game. So after the first level, I'm like, forget it. Hardest mode. I'm going to make sure no body is ever found. And I finally beat the game and I didn't get the achievement for no body found because I forgot one body in the corner of the room in stage 1 and the guard saw it. But that was the time where I was like, I'm going to play this for fun. But I forgot I did that and decided to be a completionist and then got all the way through the game super hard. And then I remembered the very end that I forgot a body. And I almost went back and played through the whole game again on hard just
That's
to make sure. Like, it doesn't matter. It's not real life, but it is.
but it
Like,
is. It's our real life. That's heartbreaking though that happened to you.
I always remember it. You know, it's just
Mm-hmm.
the body in the corner of the room was
The
just
body
so
that cried.
it was seen. So now way better hiding bodies in gaming and real
Real
life.
life.
Is there a difference?
No, there's no difference.
It's all
But
one. What I love about video games often is the atmosphere.
mm-hmm,
I know
mm-hmm.
I love the atmosphere and the artistic flavor of video games, but
I like this. This is good. Keep going.
I like the feeling of it's the immersion
Mm-hmm,
and it's I mean I love story in games too, but it's feeling enveloped, but actually feeling enveloped in a new world with the music and with
mm-hmm,
the atmospheric sense, right?
mm-hmm.
Like the graphics, of course, and the sound effects and the sound, they all have to come together, but it almost feels like you're in a cocoon of a new world and new experiences.
I will legit miss uh Skyrim. Like I'll miss Tamriel. Like I'll miss the world. I'll miss the music. I have like some of the like songs on like my save songs playlist because it's just like it's you miss it. You crave to be in that world.
There are some game soundtracks that I
Mm-hmm.
really love, but I love them during a time in my life where I had a specific like real life experience and it's like tainted the game soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep.
So I'll listen to the song and I'm like, I love how sad this song is, but it's like double sad because it's like, oh, that time when I got in a fight with that person. And it's just like, it's just like the threads of life are woven together. And then you know what it's like though, if you ever like way back when you like break up with someone and
Yeah.
you listen to sad
Yes.
music
Mm-hmm.
and you indulge in the sweet sadness. It's like I'm gonna listen to
Oh,
that sad song. It's just it feels
just
so
stick it into my
good.
veins. I
Oh
want to
yeah,
like of the sadness to
just
hurt more. Just
put
like and
in
like
the
repeat the
melancholy.
song and
Just
oh,
get it
I
in there.
love that. Ooh,
And he's my brother. And
perfect,
you think
perfect.
that like it's the sympathizing with the sad self
Mm-hmm.
um and indulging in it, that sweet pain.
I was gonna say something, but it wasn't that epic. When you're talking about songs and like relating in life, and you can't listen to them anymore. Thing with that, I used to have one of the Skyrim songs as my alarm to wake up in the morning. I had to switch my alarm though, because I'm like, this is just relating to waking up, and I wanted to be Skyrim.
Real life again.
I know. God, oh, starting over from scratch. I'm respawning again.
You're respawning back to level one.
Back to level. Just like no inventory, just going in bare bones.
You're just going through your kitchen, just throwing apples and plates in a bag for no reason. You're like, oh, I'm just going to sharpen this knife 400 times to get my weaponsmithing up.
Yes. I don't know when I'm going to need the spatula, but I know I'm gonna. Maybe I can take the rubber and turn it into some sort of
okay. So
over encumbered all day. This is a perfect segue to what we're talking about. Segue what we're talking about today. So we wanted to talk about which video game moments really resonated with us. And you know what? Like if I really truly think about some of my most favorite childhood memories, they revolve around video games. And they brought our family together so much. Our grandpa, our auntie and uncle, our cousins. It's just like, it brought all of our family together so much. So video games and memories, some of my favorite, I'm sure some of Rob's favorite, also some bad memories. We'll get into that in a later episode. But
wow.
Damn.
What's happening there?
Yeah, well,
thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, well, they're all your memories.
Oh, shoot, that. Oh no, that's we're not doing that.
We are. We definitely are. It's embarrassing AF. We can talk about it now and laugh. We are going to be discussing favorite video game moments or most memorable. Same thing.
Okay. Maybe we should have planned the show out first, but what we're going to do, what I did was most impactful video game moments.
All right.
Not necessarily my favorite, but they're the most impactful to me.
Anyway. Like stand out. I don't know Rob's list, and I know it's going to be very different from mine. He's played a lot more games than me, a lot different games it's going to be so geeky. Just wait. I just can't even. He's embarrassed already. I can't wait. So my number 10 most impactful, you're gonna laugh, this is silly, and like most memorable to me, one of the things I always talk about with one of my cousins, and I'll never forget. One of my most favorite video games of all time probably is a Nintendo game called no, you think it's one thing, but it's gonna be something else first. Black Bass.
I knew it. No, I knew it. I should have wrote it down, proved it. I knew it was gonna be Black Bass. That game is fire, man. I love that game.
So Black Bass is a fishing game. And it was always like you had to get a black bass was like more of like a master angler or whatever. Even though they were smaller, they were harder to get. And if you got a black bass in your reel, they would jump. And if you like kept reeling in, they would hop off. So it was crucial to be extra diligent when reeling in a black bass. So anyway, what my cousin and I would do is we thought it was bad luck for one of us to be in the room when the other one was reeling in a fish. So what we would do is we started plugging our ears. Then we plugged our ears and closed our eyes. Then we decided just go into the next room and plug our ears and close our eyes and go la 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 while the other person was reeling in a fish because we thought the other person cursed it.
Black Bass, yeah. NES game, like 1987 or something like that.
Yeah.
You drove your boat around in like a world map.
Remember the music, man?
Oh man, the Black Bass music. And there were different types of water. There was like deep lake water, swamp water, and you get different lures.
The swamp water one was always like, we going, and then the swamp water, but it's hard because there's weeds around it.
Oh yeah, you're on that boat trolling around. How old are you? Like 8?
Or younger, yeah.
And did you actually set up a boat with chairs?
I don't know. Oh, wait. I'm having a flashback that maybe we kind of staged a boat, but I know we had the chairs and we would get all sitting in like we were really going. And it's just like these like, what kind of graphics are those? Is it like 8-bit? Is it 8-bit, 16-bit? What was a Nintendo?
8-bit.
8-bit?
Yeah.
we were so immersed in this 8-bit game. It felt like we were there. Fishing was always a thing in our family as well, where it was like a good memory, and just being able to do it in the comfort of a basement and just playing it with your cousin, and just like it was black bass. I don't know if anybody knows black bass. I can go grab it. It's right there. But
Oh, you do. All right, folks. The theme of this entire video is going to be imagination. Nope, it is because these games demanded imagination.
Demanded, especially with like, yeah, we didn't have much.
No fancy graphics. Oh,
Black bass.
Nice. What company is that? Hot Bee?
It's just funny because it's like a hot bitch.
I thought it was a hot bass. Like, come on. Homework assignment. Find out where Hot Bee is. It's been acquired by Microsoft.
Yeah, everything's acquired by Microsoft. Okay. Anyway, that was my number 10, black bass. Leaving the room because we thought we were cursed. All right.
Everyone should play that game.
Everyone in the world.
Okay, so
don't be embarrassed. Just let it flow.
Now, these games impacted me in like my emotional development.
Mm-hmm.
And since the games have impacted my emotion and for my character, it has slowed down my maturity and I think halted it permanently. But this game,
not a bad thing.
I remember playing this game when I was about 4, and it was on I believe it was the ColecoVision. I think the Intellivision, but it's for Coleco, and it was for Atari as well. I remember sitting alone in my room watching this game, like playing this game, and feeling this sort of the character, or like wondering, am I the hero? The game, published in 1982 by Arcadia Games.
You did research, man. I didn't do research like this. Okay.
It's called Hobo.
What? What's this? What's
this? I know now it would be a really insulting game because you play as a homeless person. The game's called Hobo, and you look like, I mean, the graphics at the time, like you have this like hat, you look all disheveled with like 3 colors, and you have to jaywalk across the street.
What?
Like, this is like little tiny graphics. It's like Frogger, only you're a dude. You have to cross the street. If you get hit by a car, the paramedics come out and take you away. I mean, there's a lot of political commentary here, because once you get once you get across the street and don't die, you finally make it across the street as this homeless person, and then the cops put you in jail for jaywalking.
Oh my God. So it's a lose-lose situation.
Well, wait, you'll see. And then you're in jail and you have to escape from maximum security prison for jaywalking. Like, it's a critique of the justice system. And then when you escape the prison, you have to leapfrog, like Frogger, across ferries, like ferries down a river. And then once you get to the end and get past the furthest ferry, like into the sunset, you do this little jig. And then you play the game again, but everything's faster.
Oh, he has a little cane.
Yeah, it's not. So the reason why that was so impactful is when I was little.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I was just shocked that you would play a game as that character, and that look at the graphics.
Yeah.
Like, this is like 3 colors.
I'm going to pop up a picture.
Yeah, it looks really striking. So I'm like 4 or 5, and I'm just like, damn, this is like, I'm going to prison. Like, it formed, I think, my sense of right and wrong. I mean, this is wrong. You don't put a guy in prison for jaywalking. He just wants to get across the street, get something to eat. And you put him in maximum security prison, you got to break out, and they have to jump across ferries into the sunset.
Oh,
that's a game. Who made that game? Like, who pitched that game?
And who was like, yes.
Yeah. Like it just sounds like some trust fund kid made of it. Oh, it'd be fun to play as a hobo. Oh, you peasant. That was actually kind of, I can just see it in my mind where I was sitting, where I was playing, and just perplexed at the subject of the game.
It changed your life. Okay, hobo. Wow. I feel like mine aren't really this life-changing, and like maybe molded me as a human. It was just more moments that stand out. Well, there's some that mold me as human, but okay, I'm gonna go for number 9. Okay, Rob. My number 9 moment happened when I was at your house a couple weeks ago.
I could tell by your face. You're gonna cry.
No, but how much am I allowed to say?
We took a legal
Yes.
substance that you ate. Oh my gosh.
Is it just coming back?
Yeah. Oh,
What
he's my brother.
brother?
Oh no.
There. We took
Oh
a legal
no.
substance. It was a legal
Legal
substance from the
substance
store.
from a store. This is your game, so you can talk, but I think this is a good experience. I think I should share this one as well. Yes, if I was there in another dimension with you, so like literally
We were in the good times for like a couple hours. During these good times,
before the dark times, before
before the
the
dark times
empire.
arose, we decided to play Castlevania 4, which is maybe my second favorite video game of all time, is Castlevania 4. It's my ringtone, is the theme song. Anyway, so we put on Castlevania 4. Explain what Castlevania is for me, because you're going to explain it way better.
What do you
What do
mean?
you do in
The
what do you do in Castlevania 4? Like
franchise?
what? No, just
Oh,
Castlevania 4. What do you do? Like what do you do? Is side
oh
scrolling
no.
like
The objective is to kill Dracula,
yes.
and you have to travel through various like swamps and underground aqueducts to get into his castle and get to his lair and kill him. And your main weapon's a whip.
It's a Super Nintendo game. He has a
And
whip as his weapon.
the new, because this was on Super Nintendo, and the new
Mm-hmm.
feature of the whip was that if you
Mm-hmm.
hold down X, I think,
Mm-hmm.
the whip would go slack. And then
Yeah.
with the D-pad, you can just kind of whip it around like your
And
hands
like
like
swing
this.
it.
It looked ridiculous.
It looked really fun. And you can like control like how high and everything. So what we were doing when we were in this state was crouching. Our character was crouching, and we would take the whip and we were just whipping it to the music. And we were just like laughing so hard, but focused so hard on getting this whip right with the music. And then like the timer would come on, we're like, oh shit. And they're like, we have to play this game.
So in most of these games, there's a timer, and it never you have like 4 hours to beat a 2-minute level. We would not realize that all the time the timer ran out because we're like just playing at the whip and like, dude, it's so funny. We're laughing on the floor, and then the timer went out
Crying.
and we die. It's like we didn't matter. We weren't there to beat the game. We're there to whip dance.
Yes, we were just whip dancing and laughing. And it was like the first time that we were together and so long and putting on something that meant so much to us. And we were just having fun with it. But that is my number 9, that moment with you a couple weeks ago when we whipped that whip back and forth to the theme song of, well, not theme song, but to the song and the first stage of Castlevania 4. Okay.
All right.
Rob's number 9.
Number 9. You're not going to expect this, Marie.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat.
Oh.
The arcade machine. Now, wait, this is real.
The arcade machine. Okay.
Across the street from my high school was literally a laundromat with
a laundromat
with arcade machines, like classic, like
it had
yeah, I forget. It was by the car anyway.
Yeah, I know where it was.
Halls, yeah, okay, so it was like a legit laundromat where they had like arcade cabinets.
I didn't know there was like, arcade games in there.
Dude, it was the 90s, right? So it was lunchtime and all the kids went over, and we were like, it was like gangster movies were out. So like all these like scrawny kids were wearing puffy jackets and big pants, and we're like, wearing their starter hats and trying to be really cool, like imitating movies. And we cluster, like I was a loser, so I was kind of in the back, but they cluster around the Mortal Kombat cabinet. And I remember seeing a fatality and seeing, the blood and the gore and stuff. And I swear to you, I thought this. I'm like, I guess I was 13. I don't know. I thought it's just going to escalate from here. They're going to get games are going to try to outdo each other in the violence and the gore. And it was obvious satire.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't just, like indulgence in violence for violence sake. It was indulgence in violence because it was kind of funny. It was ridiculous.
Yes.
But oh no, not the American Congress. No. So Joe Lieberman, right? I think in 1993, Democratic senator from Connecticut, proposes that he's like, well, we wish we could ban these games, but we can't because of the First Amendment, but we should keep kids from playing them. And he said, we're not talking about Pac-Man or Space Invaders anymore. Who is ever talking about Pac-Man or Space Invaders? Like some caveman like, oh, doop, doop, doop. It's like, oh, the big yellow spear is gonna come and eat up all the pills.
The
Like
violence, the violence.
violence. No, and so it was like, I'm like, guys, and then of course, even down to today, but especially back then, it was playing video games. Violent video games makes you like a killer.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
been no evidence for that. And just
Mm-mm.
very briefly, I'll give you my little theory. Really, really violent, bloody video games doesn't desensitize you to violence. It actually
Mm-mm.
makes you more squeamish. Because if you get habituated to think violence and blood and gore looks like a video game, and then you
Yeah.
see real life,
Mm-hmm.
it's horrifying. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh, it's not like this sort of simulated. It's like, I won't get into it, but I think it's the opposite that happens. It's not that you get desensitized to real violence. I think once you start seeing real like violence, blood, and gore, it's not like how it is in the simulation, in the fantasy
Yeah.
world, in the
It's like,
games.
wait, this should just only be in video games. What is
Yeah,
this
or like
doing
it's
here
like
in my
why
world?
yeah, it's like why doesn't you just fall back and get back up with no cuts and scrapes? Like that kind of like
Why is this
it's
guy
like
responding? What's
yeah,
happening?
why is he
What's happening
responding?
here?
It's like I had X-ray vision into his molecular structure being blown apart by that combo. And then it's round two. Like it's not so anyway, but I vividly remember thinking it's on. And then,
This is where
right
it
around
starts.
there, you had Doom come out, and then it's like, yep, here we
Mm.
go. Here we go. It's not going to stop. And then after
Mm-hmm.
Doom, you had all the Doom ripoffs. And then you
Mm-hmm.
have Rise of the Triad, where if you blow someone up with a bazooka, their eyeball flies past the screen.
Cool.
And you're like, yeah, like, but it was these old men in Congress not realizing that this is funny,
Yeah.
it's edgy, it's
Yeah.
not going to stop, and it's
Mm-mm.
not going to make us violent.
I've never been like, hey, you know what I want to do right now to this person? Take their head and rip out their spine. Like I
I was
never
just,
like
I mean, I've thought about it, but I never did it.
no.
Like, but that's the thing. Like, have you ever seen a spine? Like, it's not like a video game.
Mm-mm.
If go in my shed and you'll see a bunch of spines, it's just not like the video game,
It's
right?
not it's
No,
not a lot
it's
more
not at
barbed.
all.
It's
A lot more barbed. There's more
go
juice and wiggly shit on it.
I like this. Like, go in my shed. Not like in my basement. Not like no, my shed.
My shit. It sounds too
Go into my
real.
shed.
It sounds too real as if I have one. Anyway, so that's Mortal Kombat, the cabinet arcade. And that was an impactful experience for me because of where I thought video games would go and that I thought it was satirical.
All right, you have so much more depth to your choices. Because I was always playing video games thinking, this is great. This is so fun. I love video games. With a warm heart. And I was like, we're bonding as a family. And you're like, Congress is going to be upset about this.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think that part, but I thought it was going to get out of control in a funny way. But wait, you talk about my existential experiences playing video games. You don't even know what's coming up.
I'm ready. Okay, so this again is not anything like that. But my number 8 is Mike Tyson Punch Out, but not what you're thinking. Not what you're
It's so
thinking.
good. It's so good. I'll let you
Mike
continue.
Tyson's Punch Out, but it's the arcade version at a arcade, basically like a retro arcade here in my city called Phantom Amusements. They have a arcade game that has player's choice, and it has like a bunch of retro games on it. You can choose Mike Tyson's Punch Out, but it's different than the Nintendo game. There's different combos. There's different people a little bit in order. Like, there's always the order it goes in. It's a little bit different. And I have gotten to Sandman. I think I'm at Sandman, and for the last time I was there, my initials are in the top 3 on the leaderboards, and the guy who works there says no one has gotten as far as you. So that is one of my moments, because I like I'm okay at video games. Like, I'm nowhere near some people. I've never beaten Mike Tyson's Punch Out. You probably have. I never have. So for me to be in the top 3, 1, 2, 3
That's
leaderboards
awesome.
in
That's
this
awesome.
arcade, and no one else has gotten there, that is my like pride moment. So what were you gonna say about Mike Tyson's Punch Out?
No. I beat Mike Tyson's Punch Out, but after Mike Tyson was convicted, they took Mike Tyson out and just turned it into Punch Out, and they replaced Mike Tyson with Mr. Dream, I believe. I beat the original Mike Tyson Punch Out, and I had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I had to
Yeah.
memorize the pattern when he
Yes.
flashed. When he
Yes.
flashed, you knew.
Number
Number
8
eight
for
is
you.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Is it?
No. Call of Duty 2 with
I don't even
Normandy
know.
Landing.
Okay.
Like way back, because
Oh,
you
okay.
had Medal of Honor, which was a first-person World War II shooter. And then
Okay.
Call of Duty came out, and you had NPCs on your team, AI allies. And that, at least in my experience, was brand new, because it's a war game. You always want to fight with your fellow soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
And Call of Duty brought that out. I did a completionist run on that. And then I believe it was 2 that had then Normandy. And that was so unbelievably new to me and epic. That opening Normandy scene where you assault the beach, you got to get behind enemy lines, and you got to clear out the bunkers and the machine gun nests. And it felt so epic. I just couldn't believe. I invited my university professor over to play it. I'm like, you got to see what games do now. You got to see what they do. That's the number 8.
Okay, my number 7 is I took a little bit of a break from video games for many years. I was out, going to bars, hanging out with friends, doing other things that weren't video games. It's not a proud moment, not a happy time. Okay, my number 7 is I wasn't playing the video game, but it was like watching and experience the video games being played. And that was when my brother and my husband would play Call of Duty Black Ops for hours and hours and hours every single night online. And again, Rob didn't live here. He lived in the States and we lived here. So it was the only way we could really like hang out was playing video games together. I would just watch them play for hours. And to me, that was just like one of the best moments, is like we can finally hang out again. Even though I wasn't playing, I was like hanging out with my brother. He's my brother. And the music in that game, every time I hear it, I get so comforted. Call of Duty Black Ops is one of my like most favorite games, even though I didn't play it very much. Just because of the way it made me feel, the memories.
Yeah. Okay,
number 7 for me. Number 7 for you is gonna be like some life-changing event. Okay, go on.
No. It's an impactful video game experience.
Okay.
So one time my dad gave me a floppy disk, like the small ones. Was it 3.5? Yeah. And I put it in my PC and I loaded the game. And it was nothing but a black screen, except in the middle, there was a little box. And it looked like that box was like a chuck wagon. Mm-hmm. And watch this, folks. It reminded me of Oregon Trail. Is that on your list, Marie?
No.
Oregon Trail.
Because it's school. It's school. I didn't want to even think about
Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail, yeah.
Classic. Anyway, and so I moved this little chuck wagon around, and the black started to disappear, and underneath was grass, water, forests. And I realized that there was a world under the dark. And if one were to explore the dark, they would uncover the world. No, I don't mean it that way. It was just like this, the whole game is under there. Yeah. And then I could make a settlement, raise troops, farm, build cities. And I ended up realizing I could build a civilization. Mm-hmm. And it was Civ 1. I never heard about it before. Didn't know what this game was. Just put in this disc. And I was introduced to civilization and that kind of gaming. And the idea of, discovery, and building and expanding was a really impactful gaming experience. But Civ 1, mm-hmm. I stumbled onto it by mistake.
Okay, my number 6 is playing Super Mario Brothers Wii with my brother and his wife and my husband. We played it on New Year's Eve. And usually, and he again lived in the States. We haven't spent New Year's Eve together for many, many years. I don't know, since we were like children. And we spent one New Year's Eve together playing Super Mario Brothers Wii, and we laughed our butts off and came out with all these like sayings. When you are not with somebody for so long, and then you like do like your favorite pastime ever separately, but also together. It's like one of your favorite pastimes ever, and you're doing it all as a family on New Year's Eve. And like that's what we wanted to do, was sit there and like play video games together. Like that was just like I can cry even thinking about it.
There are people out there who are jealous of us right now. Not, you know, like who has that, right? Those treasured moment. I mean, if this part's even boring in the video, it's because you can't communicate it. It's
No.
deep.
All right, number 6, Rob.
So yeah, number 6 has a 6 in it.
Oh.
Final Fantasy 6.
Ah.
The opening of that game with
Mm-hmm.
the thunder and the soundtrack and the credits and the Empire and Terra and Wedge and going to the precipice and then having the Esper. Oh my gosh. And the cast of characters, rich characters, like 20 characters spanning these two realms, was so atmospheric and immersive. And everything was, it's a perfect game. It's a perfect RPG, except the battle mechanics got kind of boring. But other than that, it's I think, you know what? Hear people like, what's your favorite Final Fantasy game? They're like, oh, Final Fantasy 7. Now that ages you, and that's wrong. Final Fantasy 6 was the great, it's better than 7. Come on,
Doesn't matter
Cloud.
your opinion.
Yeah, your opinion is nothing. Final Fantasy 6 is where it's at. And if you like 7 more than 6, just go show yourself to the normie door. Like, excuse me. The opera scene? Are you joking?
I've never played a Final Fantasy game. I don't know how we're related.
Stay in Canada.
There's some games in my mind are yours.
Oh,
and I'm just like, I never, and I was like, oh, that's Rob's game. He's gonna play, because like if I saw it, I don't know if I felt like allowed to play it, or I didn't want to scratch it, or I didn't want to like screw it up. I'm just blaming you for the reason why I haven't played it. Okay, my number 5. I always thought this was like a weird game for girls to play, not to like be sexist or whatever,
Barbie?
but
Oh, Little Mermaid.
No, Little Mer. Okay, first of all, the Little Mermaid Nintendo game you can beat in 15 minutes. They made
That's
it
true.
super easy for like girls to play. Anyway, one of my most favorite games as a child. Again, playing it with my cousin.
Silent Service.
It is
Yeah,
Silent Service.
Yeah, no, I didn't know.
It's not a girly game. That's what I mean.
Break the norms.
I did.
I guess
We
you did.
were.
You're one of the original. Yeah.
Okay, so Silent Service is a Nintendo game where you are in a submarine, and we were so submersive into the game that we would take chairs and set them up and pretend step side by side and like legit pretend that we would be in these submarines. And it's like it again, 8-bit. Like there's like no music, and we had to like shoot missiles at other submarines and like try to sink them. And I don't even know if there was like a quest. I don't even remember. But all I know is that we were in that submarine. We were in it.
Oh no. Well, the thing is, there are no, as far as I remember, you don't ever see your submarine from the outside.
No.
You're in it.
You're just in that submarine.
You move from room to room. You don't walk around even. It's sort of like you select rooms, use the periscope,
yes,
check boards, do navigation. Like you're in a sub, and when you put the periscope, you can see like these destroyers far away. You got to shoot missiles at them. If you get too close, they blow you up with depth charges.
Mm-hmm.
And the title screen music's fantastic.
Oh, it is.
But it sounds like a submarine. Like you do Hunt for Red October, forget that.
It sounds like what is that? Kind of like a homing device, like blinking, like the or what is that on the radar? Not a homing device, but it sounds like on the radar, like the blink,
sonar or something.
Sonar,
I don't know. Whatever.
It does, but they somehow
remixed it. They sampled it.
This is one of the first ever games where I really felt like I was inside of it. Like I felt like, and it was like first person, like I'm looking through the periscope and I'm seeing, like, this is one of the first games ever I was like, I'm in the submarine right now. We're living in here. So that was like really transcendent.
I mean, the game design, it's not just some action game where you're blowing up ships and stuff. Like
it's not an action game.
It's a submarine simulator on Nintendo. Like brilliant.
Silent Service.
What company?
Ultra Games.
Ultra. All right, so I got my number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Ready for number 5?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a hint, but the hint actually is misleading. Okay.
Okay.
It's
Hmm.
totally misleading.
Okay. Zelda.
True, but this is not from Ocarina of Time. No, it is. Sorry, of course it is. But it's not my favorite. It's not the Zelda game that has impacted me the most.
Okay.
What do you get? What are you getting?
Is
No,
it?
don't
It's not. It's
send.
not this.
It is. Send that to me.
Okay.
Holy no, that's my. You are so greedy for Nintendo cartridges. You're off. You are. I'm getting mad now. Like
It's
you
not.
have the
It's
golden
it.
cartridge. Marie has number 5.
You sing the song as I
Dude,
look it
I
up.
know I can't. Do.
I feel like I'm a priest and it's like communion and I'm lifting it up. Oh,
Uh,
it's glowing right now. Like it's like the
okay.
light from the heavens. Look
I
at.
was at my friend's house for a
Mhm.
birthday party. Again, I was like 6. See, all these games affected me when I was 6. And no, seriously, and puts in the golden cartridge, Zelda
Mhm.
2, The Adventures of Link, and it opens up. You remember that gripping heroic music, and Zelda has the sleep cast upon her. Here's the thing: in Mario, you go save the
Mario.
princess. She's
Mario is how
Mario,
Canadians say it.
and so you go save the princess. But here, Zelda's already you already have her, and she's already
Okay.
with you,
Mhm.
but she's asleep. And then when you step out to do like, oh, my side scrolling action game, you hit an overworld with towns, random encounters. And again, I felt moving from the screen where you're with Zelda, where she's asleep, and then all of a sudden a giant world with that music. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I would play, I would die, I'd play, I would die, but I like I was trying to sleep in a sleeping bag because it's a sleepover. And I'm like,
In your mind?
and I was just like, I'm like I just had to get out and get the sword and like jump on my sword. And we played Ghost and Goblins after that too. Like
Oh,
those are the types of games we played when we were kids at sleepovers. Zelda and Ghost and Goblins. Like
yep.
that's not fun. That's training. Train the mind and the heart. The two themes of this episode, I said one already when Brie was gone, which is imagination,
Hmm.
because you have to use your imagination to play these games.
Hmm.
Two is training for life. Yeah, so that's my number 5. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is maybe the whole of playing Overwatch.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so Overwatch is very special. I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
the best game in the world, but
Mm,
Overwatch is very special to me and to Robbie. Overwatch is a Blizzard game, and it's like what came out 2000. It's like what 7 years old, 7ish years old. Anyway, I main Lucio. I have a couple Lucios back here. You can't really see them. There's one here. There's Michael Myers. And there's another Lucio right there. And then I got some Diva stuff here too, because I used to be Diva all the time. Anyway, I love being Lucio so much with the booping that I got boop tattooed on my finger. My boop
that's
finger.
super cool.
It hurt so bad.
It's like, Marie, we need healing. It's like I'm across the map booping Roadhog off a bridge. It's just like Junkrat comes or Diva, we're all dead. It's like, gotta get that boop.
You gotta get that boop because I'm not a killer. I'm a healer. So you can boop people up. If anybody's watching this and you're like, you can get environmental kills, which is when you like basically hit people off the world. It's so satisfying. There's like this,
So,
there's like this feeling inside, just like, whoa. There's so many times I played
oh,
Overwatch where like the adrenaline in me is just like I'm shaking because I'm so excited. We also have met people online that we love so much. Life-changing video games, bringing
I
out people
mean,
together in the world, different places in the world that you never would have met otherwise.
imagination training and friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Games are good. I'm really trying to talk myself into my addiction. But I mean, he's my brother. But oh
Strung
my,
out on video games, just like, oh, and I'm just like in the hospital with you, but I'm also strung out on video games.
oh no.
We're in this
Um,
together.
it's like we're gonna be in an old folks' home, drooling, whipping around that friggin' whip in Castlevania 4. It's my handwriting. Number 4. X-Wing for the PC.
Mhm. How old
I
is this
used to,
game?
oh gosh, I don't remember. I was in grade 6, 7, 8. No, 7, 8, 9.
Which
The
is a long time
game,
ago, guys. Long time.
yeah. I used to be a big Star Wars nerd. I
Okay.
started collecting the expanded universe novels right when Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire came out.
Mhm.
And so McCreds and loved everything Star Wars. X-Wing came out. I played that game for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. It was a masterpiece of a flight simulator.
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm in an X-Wing, do 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 do, and it felt so great.
Stay on
And
target.
you go on tours of duty, a million missions. The mission design was fantastic. I used to get up at 6 a.m. before school just to play this game.
Mm.
One day I beat a whole tour, like a campaign. And I think it was Mon Mothma
Mm.
gave me a medal. And I was so filled with zeal, with pride. 6 a.m. before school.
Look how close
I
you are to the
I
camera.
I didn't even think. I acted with my heart. I pushed the desk back. I stood up and I saluted. I fucking saluted Mon Mothma on a computer. And she's like, it's like the graphics were beautiful. And I'm just like this. And I didn't salute. I stood at attention. I was like the whole time, just like, give me that. I was just right there, like boom. It was like a few good men. I'm just like objective. I'm just like, I won't move. I'm just like until I got the medal in my case, and I'm just like, and I sat down and I thought about life, and I thought, you know, I could do this. I could do
Mhm.
life, imagination and training, and friendship with Mom
I
Mothma.
could do life.
I could do life. That was a real important time in my life. It was I didn't
It's
think,
beautiful.
like no one was around. It was like 6:30 in the morning. I was alone. And I just sprang up like a jackrabbit. And I just threw that hand against my forehead. I almost knocked myself out. Like I still got that wrinkle, right? See that scar?
That's
That's
for you.
from
Like,
this that's from the salute. Yeah, just like boom. Like I get migraines. That's like a war wound.
I love this so
Uh
much. I see, God, I didn't know about this story. I had no idea. He probably was too
Lucas
ashamed.
Games.
Lucas Arts, Lucas Games.
Yeah, Lucas Arts. But
Lucas
yeah,
Arts.
it was every time I started that game, I'd watch the intro over and over and over and over.
It meant so much to you. Do you know what the saddest part is, guys? Which we're gonna get
No,
into in a different episode.
no.
The saddest part is Rob has disowned all of Star Wars. He won't even. He can't even recognize this. Star Wars was a huge part of our lives. It still is a huge part of mine, but
Can't do it. I'm
yeah,
done.
we're gonna get it. Yeah, okay, we're gonna get into that passion in another episode. We're gonna do a whole Star Wars episode and get into why Rob disowned it.
Last time I salute Star Wars.
Yes, the first and last. Number 3 for me is, well, Skyrim as a whole. I want to say is made a huge impact on me. Skyrim's very basic, which I kind of liked about it. I was just like, I can just live in this world. It's not stressful in a way. The leveling up system is pretty easy. But anyway,
hundreds of hours. Sorry.
I'm like at least 700 hours on Skyrim, which I don't think is actually that much, but I've played it like several times over. But I got it for Christmas when it came out. The New Year's Eve after the Christmas that I got it, I was so obsessed with it. I woke up at 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning to play it because I just couldn't wait. And I played it all New Year's Eve until about 4 a.m. New Year's Day, almost 24-hour stretch. That's all I did was play Skyrim. It was New Year's Eve, didn't go anywhere. My husband just watched me the whole time. And that was all we did on New Year's Eve was me play Skyrim. And I have no regrets. It's not a waste of time. I don't feel like spending hundreds and hundreds of hours playing games that you love as a waste of time ever. Skyrim has a very special place in my heart. My third favorite game of all time.
I'm going to say number 3. This is weird, but it's a Christmas game.
Just happens to have it.
And the
Yes.
Christmas game is, it was an Atari game, infamous, E.T.
How is this a Christmas game?
I think it came out for the Christmas season.
But it's not a Christmas game. Like it doesn't take
No,
place during
no,
Christmas. But
no.
okay. Because it's one of the greatest gifts
E.T.'s
that has ever
Halloween,
been
yeah.
bestowed on this world.
Oh gosh, but here's the thing. I know I'm like, oh, E.T. edgy, but listen, it's not the gameplay, the amazing gameplay and graphics and soundtrack. It was like Hobo beats that game.
Oh yeah.
Like
ET would there was no point to it. There was nothing that's
it was, the level was a cube.
Yeah.
To get moving around, it didn't really realize that you're in a cube, and then there's the pits, and got to make a phone or something in the plant. And you stretch your neck out, and there's like dudes in coats coming out. It's like Dick Tracy's coming after you. It's really
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
I asked my mom, I'm holding the cartridge, and I asked her, what is an extraterrestrial? And she somehow starts talking about DNA.
What?
And
Mom?
I said, yes. I said, what is DNA? And she said, according to my child memory, it's in everything.
Like midichlorians?
I am holding the cartridge
Force?
and I'm like, this is made of DNA. And that warped my perception of things. I'm like, what is this substance? And it kind of freaked me out. Like she could have said, atoms, but no, it was like this DNA, and I did not know what it was, and it bothered me.
So you thought that the ET cartridge itself was alive? It had
I thought it was
DNA.
It was like it was like alien DNA and then human DNA and extraterrestrial. It was the weirdest thing in the world.
What?
He's gonna deny it. Like, I never said that.
So what you're saying is the landfill that is filled with all the ET cartridges. Look that up. It's a thing. Is a graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
It's legit an ET cartridge graveyard. The souls, the DNA. Well, that's not DNA, but you know what I mean. The bodies.
All right, you got number 2
Good
now.
one. Good one. Okay, I feel like my number 2 should be my number 1. And I'm selfishly making my number 1 something that isn't as meaningful as number 2.
Mm-hmm.
But my number 2 is playing video games in our grandpa's basement with him watching. So basically, we went to my grandparents' house every day for lunch in elementary school. And my lunchtime consists of me eating and then going straight to the basement and playing video games, and my grandpa sitting on the chair behind me watching me play. Rob has also experienced this. The support that we got from our elderly retired firefighter grandfather for video games, I think, was astounding, because they were such a new concept. It was Nintendo, and he just, for some reason, would be our biggest supporter and would never let us quit, and would always wait a fire, would always like root us on. And he was like our biggest fan when we played video games. And I played Tetris was my thing that I'd play on my lunch hour, and he would always watch. And Tetris, I'd play Super Mario sometimes, and I'd play the Little Mermaid game sometimes. But Tetris was the big one at lunchtime, and my grandpa watching. And that was just like that's probably one of my most favorite memories in life ever, was lunchtime at grandpa's, him watching and rooting us on playing video games. But that was my number 2. What's yours?
My number 2, Detroit Become Human for PlayStation.
This is a game?
Yes. It's almost like a choose your own adventure real-time movie game.
Detroit graphics. Become Human?
Yeah, you're like a artificial intelligence detective that is struggling with becoming human, and then there are these robots, AI robots, that are demanding rights like human beings, and there's revolutionary overtones. But anyway, you have to make choices, and you have a limited number of time.
I'm looking it up.
Limited time.
Okay.
And I had all the choices I want. and I screwed up this one choice by mistake, and I almost jumped across the living room and shut off the PlayStation. I screwed up something so bad. I got someone killed. And to this day, I have lost sleep over it. I almost had a perfect run, and it just kills me to this day. Number
Okay.
one.
Number one for me is Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Fallout New Vegas is my number one favorite game of all time. And the reason why is, like I said before, I went on a hiatus from video games for many years. My husband decided to buy Fallout New Vegas when there were stores closing, like video rental stores, video stores were closing. He bought it. He started playing it. Fallout is a Bethesda series, but then a company called Obsidian took Fallout and kind of made their own kind of spin-off, but it was very much in the same how do I explain that? It's like the same like feel, gameplay, everything is like Fallout 3. It's a post-apocalyptic world, but it feels like it's in like the 50s. Like it feels like it's in the 1950s. It was in the year, I don't even remember, but it's like in the future. This takes place in obviously the Mojave Desert, and it's very warm gold, yellow tones, and I'm very about visual and color palette. And this game I was watching and play it, and I was like, "Ooh, this looks like something I could play." And I just said, "Can I play it?" And then I hijacked it, and it was like my game. And that is the game that rekindled my love for video games in general. And I remember I went to Vegas with my brother and my dad for a family reunion. And I remember being in McCarran Airport and freaking out because that is Camp McCarran in Fallout New Vegas. We went to Red Rock Canyon. I feel like I'm going to start crying.
I know. I noticed that. I'm like, damn, she's going to start crying.
We went to Red Rock Canyon, which is also featured in the video game. And I stood on top of like mountain basically and Red Rock Canyon facing the canyon and gave a Vault Boy thumbs up, which I don't know if you know what that is, but everybody knows Fallout is. There's like a Vault Boy, which is their like little logo cartoon guy, and he has a thumbs up. I have a tattoo of it here. That's like a Vault Boy Michael Myers. Anyway, I'm obsessed with Fallout New Vegas, and Fallout 3 is really good. Fallout 4 is Fallout 76, it's so different. It's okay. But I owe my rekindled love for video games to Fallout New Vegas. And I've played it probably 5 or 6 times through, and it is my favorite video game of all time. It made me feel like me again.
Wow. It made you feel like you again.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty, like, this whole time I'm like, oh, this affected me, blah, blah, blah. And then you pull up the tears and self-discovery and self-knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is, it took you somewhere. It took
Fallout
you
Vegas,
back to yourself.
Fallout Vegas 8 brought me back to myself. And it's the
And
soundtrack is amazing. Everything about it, I feel it in my soul. Everything I love about any aesthetic, music, anything, Fallout New Vegas is it.
smash that subscribe button so that you can fund Marie's return to New Vegas. New Vegas, Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically, yeah. I want to go back to
Basically.
Vegas. I need to go back. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's my number one, Rob.
So I have a perfect contrast to that game and those experiences.
Okay.
One of the craziest moments I've had in
Number one.
gaming. Yeah, number one, excuse me. The craziest moment was playing Leisure Suit Larry. Number one, at a house party when I was 6.
Where were you at
I was
6 years old?
I was in Regina.
I still have no idea what this means.
I visited, I don't want to say, I visited relatives of relatives in Saskatchewan.
Okay, what is Leisure Suit Larry?
Okay, yes.
This like molded my view of men, this game.
Okay,
Not in a good way.
Leisure Suit Larry is a Sierra point and click adventure game, but actually at that time you didn't use a mouse. You use a keyboard to navigate the world.
Type commands.
and type commands, like pick up, look at, take. And the theme was that you were a man in midlife crisis that wore a leisure suit that was in a sleazy part of town looking to score.
Mm-hmm.
And you start off in the sleazy bar, and it's, dude, the computer was so old, there weren't color to the graphics. It was just yellow and black.
Okay.
And we're in the sleazy bar, and I remember these girls and these guys, and I'm there, and they think I'm like the cutest thing, and they're walking up to characters and they're saying, like, proposing in adult language, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
watching.
Mm-hmm.
And they finally, in this bar, they get to see a pimp, and I'm like, what's a pimp?
Yeah.
And they're trying to get it on with
Mm-hmm.
a sex worker,
Mm-hmm.
and they talked about how they need to use condoms
Mm-hmm.
right in front of me. That is like movie level,
Mm-hmm.
Animal House level corruption of a kid at a house party that he shouldn't be at, with partying and girls and dudes. And I'm in the middle of it, soaking up this raw, unbridled energy, playing Leisure Suit Larry won a sleazy game about a man in a midlife crisis. Ding. And that's where I got
It
it from.
all comes back, circles
It all
back.
circles back. What I liked about it was it broke boundaries. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like,
Well,
there's no rules in this world anymore. And I'm just like on top of the world. I ended up ratting them out and got them in trouble, but I didn't realize that was not my fault. That
you didn't
was,
realize that.
I didn't understand etiquette.
But this explains a lot about who you are. But you know what, Rob? You're saying, but we also did this at home. Our dad had Leisure Larry games, and we'd play it. I remember playing Leisure
Yeah.
Larry, the pixelated boobs.
Leisure Suit Larry 1, 2, and 3 are fantastic games.
They're good.
Like, they're really well done. And really great storylines, character arcs, music, writing. Like, it's good. Like, they're good. Leisure Suit Larry 3 is amazing.
Mm-hmm. This is the thing. We grew up with Leisure Larry, Space Quest, King's Quest, Police Quest, all these games, and
Heroes
like Monkey
Quest.
Island's LucasArts, but still all the Sierra games. And
Yeah.
It's just normal.
It's just normal.
Mm-hmm.
But that was wild. And then
Wow.
at that same place, I remember one of the older guys was showing me Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
And talking about magic orbs and things like that. And I was just like, fantasy, man. Like, that just, like, look, I'm telling,
that's
like,
life.
That's it. That's life. Boom. And then I'm just like saluting the whole time. I'm just like, yeah,
like,
Leisure Suit Larry, like, just salute
Larry,
that.
I salute
I
you.
salute you
On your quest to get laid.
Look, it was the moment. It was such a bizarre moment in my video game history that
It's a standout. It's a standout.
It's a standout. Like, what can top that? Family, finding yourself, going to the physical locations with your brother and father that's related to the game that brought you happiness. No, like, dude, house parties, playing games in a context you should never have been in.
Right.
All social norms are thrown into the bus.
It was like what's happening here? This is wrong, but
Yeah,
it's like the Garden of Eden type thing.
Yeah,
it's like
it
the
was like,
forbidden.
I learned that society is a lie. That
This is the
behind all the norms and the moral principles is unbridled, crazy, transgressive black and yellow graphics of raw animal humanity. Everything made sense at that moment. Gears is like a exploration into self-knowledge and a forgiveness of the self. I can't forgive myself or anyone anymore.
Because of that night.
It's gone. Like, my part of myself is gone, but do I want that part back? Because I'm free now.
This is what video games do, people. This is what they do. This is exactly why everyone should play video games. Every man, woman, and child, and everything in between should play video games forever.
No, Congress was right.
Oh.
They should have banned it all.
Put it in the landfill with ET. Put it in the landfill with ET. So we just shared our most impactful and video game moments with you guys.
What were your most impactful experiences and moments playing video games?
Yeah, we want to know in the comments below or on my Instagram page at Marie Plays It All. Go there. You tell me, you tell us your most impactful video game moments ever. We want to know, because clearly there's levels, there's layers, there's different ways it can affect you. There's things you can remember forever that don't make sense, but do.
Have you saluted a video game? Have you had your innocence destroyed by drunk girls when you were 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever you were? Have you cried in the desert over a video game?
Have you cried in the desert?
Have you cried? Tell us your experiences. And we'll let you know soon about our next topic of video game exploration and enjoyment. And
could be video game exploration and enjoyment, could be movie exploration and enjoyment. We have lots of those TV shows. We have lots of things we can talk about. Let's delve into our childhood a little bit more, you see. So thank you for watching this episode of Relatively Geeking on Marie Plays It All with my co-host Rob, my brother. You can find Marie Plays It All and other content on the YouTube channel Not a Strong Start, and on Instagram and Twitter at Not a Strong Start, and anywhere you listen to your podcast, you can find it and find them, my bros who I do this whole thing with. And you can follow me at Marie Plays It All on Instagram. Thank you guys for watching. Can't wait for the next one. And don't forget to never stop playing.